Joke time.
Back again.
Excited?
Unfortunately.
I actually am.
Get excited. Now, I had Sophie from Rebel, shout out to Sophie, gave me a suggestion for a joke. I'm going to table that one for a later date because I've got.
It wasn't good enough.
It was good.
Then why are you tabling it?
It was good.
What's the problem with it?
Because I
Sophie.
want to build the suspense. Hey, I laughed at her joke. It was good. But
Sympathy.
we're going to get into this one instead, boys, okay?
Okay.
It's simple but effective. You ready?
Hopefully I understand it like last week's. But
If you don't understand this, God. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
do it.
Good luck, Riley. How did the hamburger introduce his girlfriend?
How did the hamburger introduce your girlfriend?
Meet Patty.
That was bad. It's just not funny.
How did that make me laugh?
Got him. 1 out of 2.
That just shouldn't have made me
No,
laugh.
that's
1 out of 2.
can't have laughed at that. Ham patty. Oh,
Clearly I'm
no.
very easily pleased.
Oh,
Oh. Yeah,
sorry. God. Have a sense of humour. That's funny.
Everyone needs a laugh in their
Yeah.
day, Fletch.
Did it make
just,
you?
Just tell me a good joke.
Did it make
I thought it was
you
alright.
flare your nostrils at least?
No.
Oh, nothing.
Yep.
I would say his first one was still better, but I'll laugh at that. That was alright.
That was bad.
Gee,
Fine. Okay. Well.
I hate to be your sense of humour.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our second podcast. This is our podcast where we can just blabble and talk about other sports around the
Whatever
world.
we want to.
What do we want? So we got basketball, that's my expertise, and then we got soccer, that's Tommy's expertise,
Oh, yep.
and then F1, that's Riley's, and then we can all do tennis, or Tommy can do tennis. Then we've also got AFLW,
Golf. We love our golf.
so and then maybe a bit about our own golf, not just about LIV and PGA, bit about our own golf maybe too.
And some fantasy basketball when that kicks off pretty soon.
We do. We have a league between our friends, and we'll keep you updated of how we're going because I won it last year.
We've got three of the
I'm looking
top
good for
four.
next year.
Three of the top four from last year's standings here. So we guess we're experts now. So
I'm an expert. You guys are just merely underneath me.
I was on the podium. He wasn't. So.
that's rubbish. I just didn't try after I lost to
Oh well.
Did you lose?
Okay.
To
I
who?
didn't realize
Who'd you lose to?
I didn't realize 3v4
He lost the
actually
bronze.
happened.
It's like the bronze medal match, like the Olympics.
Because I
We
lost to
played
you
in
and
the
I
bronze
stopped
medal.
playing. I didn't realize there was a third versus fourth.
Yeah.
So it
And
really
I-
beat me
I
by
blame-
default. I didn't
Can you
play.
just hang on?
I beat him into
Just say,
submission,
just
mate.
go back the sentence a little bit and say, you lost to.
Fletcher.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And
That's
then who did you lose to?
Oh, no, I'm not copping that. Oh,
Why?
okay, I didn't realise. It's our
Bronze-
first...
bronze medal.
Riley, shh. It's our first year playing...
Shush.
It's our first year playing fantasy basketball. I thought it stopped once you lost. I didn't realise there was a third versus fourth. So Riley beat you by default.
Do your research, mate.
So,
It was a bronze medal match, and I
but-
won.
I'm glad Fletcher's finally stopped talking about his win until today.
Did you win?
Yeah, I won.
No.
I beat Will. I beat Tommy. Beat
Yeah.
yourself.
I don't think we crossed paths in the finals.
Wasn't lucky enough to face me.
Yeah. Well, or unlucky, I guess. Whichever
All
way
right,
you look
no,
at it.
enough of it. Let's get stuck into the actual podcast at hand here. Riley,
Yes.
AFLW, you
Yes.
were a big viewer over the weekend.
Yes.
Enlighten us, please.
Yes, it was round 1 of season 7. Obviously, one of the good things about having the week off for the men's in between the home and away season and the finals is that it gives the women's competition a chance to shine round 1, which I think it did. Thursday night, Collingwood defeated Carlton 36-18. Tommy's crew did it again. Look at them go.
Flying.
It was a good season opener. Collingwood dominated after quarter time. Carlton just could not keep up. Last season's Rising Star winner, Mimi Hill, was massive with 26 disposals, but just did not have the help. Both teams, I would say, have finals aspirations. Carlton might sneak in, but Collingwood have an extra gear, and they showed that. So, and then Friday night, Melbourne defeated Adelaide 44-26. Shout out to Alyssa Bannon and the Melbourne Demons. They did it. Got their grand final revenge. Their midfield was brutal. Eliza West and Karen Paxman led the way, and that was a massive statement win, so well done. North Melbourne defeated Gold Coast 40-8, and the scoreboard flattered Gold Coast. In this one, Gold Coast didn't score from 3 minutes into the first quarter until there was 7 minutes left in the game.
That's incredible.
So that hurts as a Gold Coast fan. Yeah, that was pretty brutal. There's two teams on opposite ends of the scale. West Coast defeated Port Adelaide 40-28. This was a huge surprise. Port Adelaide obviously being an expansion team, but West Coast has not been very good the last couple of seasons. So that was a surprise to me. West Coast kicked their third highest score in their history. So well done to them. The next one, St Kilda defeated Sydney 56-27. Ended up smashing them in the end. They ran away after quarter time. Big news in this one was that number 1 pick Montana Ham went down clutching her knee in agony. It looked like she'd done her ACL live, but thankfully she hasn't.
She looked really good in that game though. I watched like half or 3/4.
Yeah.
And like some of her body work around the stoppages was pretty incredible. Like I was like, this is proper stuff. Like
she's
it wasn't
like
just,
your prototype midfielder, taller than everyone
massive.
else as well.
Yeah.
And strong.
But like the way there was one possession where she was at the contest, ball up around the ground, and they threw it up. Ruckman tapped her and like forearm across her player, held her out, held the space, grabbed the ball one-handed, then turned around and kicked it. And it wasn't just like a bomb kick. It was like a 50-metre proper kick. And I was like, the skills are definitely go up. I watched the grand final rematch. And I was
quick.
Like...
That was like really... I
there was
must say,
no
I'm not a
congestion.
massive... I haven't watched a lot of AFLW, but that was really like fast-paced.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're starting to see girls like Montana Ham, for example. They're girls that have grown up as a kid watching the AFLW, and there's that pathway now.
Yeah, they're not athletes deciding to play footy. They're growing up footballers.
Yeah,
going to play footy.
Their skills are getting really, really good, and it's fast. The coaches haven't quite like figured out like AFL. The coaches stop the game and slow it down. They haven't got to that yet in the AFLW, and it's so good to watch because it's just bang, end to end. So it's actually good footy.
Yeah, the standard is increasing. The scoring is picking up as well, and not to say that just because it's high scoring, it's a good game. That'll be defined by a game that we'll talk about very soon. Next one, Montana Ham has a knee sprain, so 3 to 4 weeks, so she'll be okay.
That's right.
Essendon defeated Hawthorn 53-27. This was Saturday night. This was an amazing game. There was 12,000 people there at Marvel. It sounded like there was 40,000 people at Marvel. It was the game of the round for me. The scoreboard did not reflect how competitive Hawthorn was, but Maddie Prasparkas was the difference. She had 26 disposals, 6 clearances, and a goal. All while, I don't know if you guys saw, she had that much strapping on her thigh. Apparently, she had a pretty bad corky in a practice match, and she almost didn't play.
Jaron Geary style.
Oh, that was...
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the worst.
No, he had to get his quad cut
That's
open.
gross.
Massive.
Please don't remind me of that.
Ill. And co-captain Bonnie Toogood was also great, kicking 2 goals.
Hang on, what? What's her name?
Bonnie Toogood.
What a name.
I know. The amount of times they said it on the commentary.
Is it hyphen or is it one name?
One
Yeah.
name.
Oh, that's a
Too
good
good.
question. Good question.
Too good. Yep.
Yeah, no,
I like it.
It took them all of 8 seconds to say she's too good.
And how?
8 seconds.
Roll.
Who did she play for? Fremantle?
Essendon.
Essendon. Okay.
That's what you were
Co-captain.
listening then, Jeepers.
I heard the name.
I hope you're listening for this one. Western Bulldogs defeated GWS 41-34. Same thing. The rivalry in the men's, it's always close. This one was close the whole way. The margin was around a goal for the whole game. Ellie Blackburn, best on ground. 21 disposals, 7 tackles, 7 clearances. And Gabby Newton,
Hey.
local girl, kicked 2 goals and laid 9 tackles. So well done to her.
Related to Bert Newton.
No, definitely
damn it.
not.
Sorry, I actually believed you for a second there.
It was a question, not a statement.
And then this was the blowout of the round. Brisbane defeated Fremantle by 49 points, plus 28 inside 50s. They dominated. Not much more to talk about there. Geelong did it again.
Go the Swans.
Fletcher's boys, the Gatters.
Name a better duo than Geelong and GMHPA Stadium. We won by 4 points.
Can't
Fletch,
think of one.
if you... the Mighty Cats continued their winning ways in both men and women's formats. Sister of Maddie Prasparkas, Georgie Prasparkas, kicked the winning goal from about 40 out. Kicked it absolutely flush, just like Fletcher on a Saturday morning at Eltham Central Park.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
when he wasn't washed up.
So, great start for the Cats.
That happened a lot.
Now, those are all the games, but Tommy, you said you wanted to talk about the scheduling of this season.
Yeah, look, as I said, this is probably the first year I've decided to actually want to watch a few of these AFL women's games. But I was having a chat to you about it, Fletch, yesterday.
We were.
Obviously, I believe the schedule's changed this year. It used to be over the summer. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
So
It
it's
was
obviously
before
changed.
the AFL season.
Yeah. So I really like that starting on a bye round because there's no footy to watch. Let's get stuck in that. And it definitely did shine a light on it, as for sure. But we were talking about it. There's only 10 rounds.
Yeah, and 4 of those is in men's finals. So, like maybe the grand final when there's only one game, but you got prelim, and then you got obviously the elimination finals and the qualifying finals.
So you said the number 1 pick is out for 3-4 weeks. That's a third of the season. Half the season.
Yeah,
so,
true.
But what I was trying to think about, and I couldn't think of it. When else would you play it? Because I think in the summer it's too hot.
Yeah.
And you made a good point that it's not really footy season. So like I know me personally, I've never really watched it because I'm in cricket season. I'm not really keen on the footy.
Yeah, like
So
you're not
I
coming
like
back from
that
Christmas
starting
and going, let's watch the footy. Like it's better to just roll it on at the back of the
And
year.
I think best case scenario is hopefully what they're going to try and do is make footy a sport all year round. But logistically, I don't think it works, which sucks. But you're right that there's 10 rounds and there's 18 teams, so naturally the fixture's pretty unfair.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And
So-
if you play it aligned with the AFL season, for me, I struggle to watch all 9 AFL games. I don't know how I'm going to find the time to watch the AFL women's if they run at the same time. And then in the summer, for me, it's just too hot and it's not the right time for footy. So this is probably almost the best case. But even then, 10 rounds isn't enough for me personally. I just think you need to play 18's a lot if you're going to start this late, but 10's not enough for me.
I think
18's too much if you're going to start this late.
Yeah.
18, if you're going to do 18, you got to do it just rival the boys.
If you're done by November, really. The season's be done by
and it'll definitely get to a point where it can be sustainable to do that, where they can be coexisting.
Yes.
So, and like this is the 7th season, so we got to temper our expectations. We can't expect them to just be able to pop up with 18 rounds.
And they've finally got 18 teams now, so now it's becoming more and more like the AFL competition. But I was trying to think about it. I just couldn't think when the ideal time would be.
But we'll keep an eye on that. I'm very keen to keep watching more of the AFLW as that goes on. Tommy, the Premier League. Talk to me about it.
Yes, look, a little bit better week in terms of my Chelsea boys. But I'll run through all the games before throwing to you. I know the lid's off with Arsenal and your boys. But start off with United Southampton. United continuing their amazing form from defeating Liverpool last week, thanks to a Bruno Fernandes volley. They won 1-0 away from home. My boys, Chelsea, 10-man Chelsea picking up a much-needed win over Leicester, courtesy of a Raheem Sterling brace, signing in the summer. Said no one ever. But Brighton v Leeds.
Shut up.
I don't understand.
Brighton continuing.
Thoughts?
Brighton's been the real surprise packet for the Premier League so far, for sure. They're unbeaten, and they add another win to their tally. I think they're 4 wins and a draw, or 3 wins and a draw?
Yeah, 4 wins and a draw.
It's good from you, Fletch.
With their 1-0 win over Leeds. City v Palace. City overcame an early 2-goal deficit to beat bogey side Palace, courtesy of an Erling Haaland hat-trick. He probably is the signing of the summer. But
No.
Gee whiz. No,
Lids off.
I know what he's talking about.
Lids off.
Now, boys, cue the drum roll. Liverpool on cloud 9 as they defeat Bournemouth 9-0. I'm surprised to... Yep, eye rolls.
See what he did there.
Surprised? No, that was the equal biggest ever loss. Was 9 goals. So that surprised me. But Bobby Firmino creating a big selection headache with Darwin Nunez, summer signing, back from suspension. He picked up 2 goals and the 3 assists.
Some of those goals were pretty disgusting.
Yeah, they were.
Like that one, I can't remember who it was, maybe the 3rd or 4th one, where it was just a deflection that landed straight to Bobby. Or was it Bobby? Or I can't remember, but just like potluck.
And the fact that Mo Salah wasn't involved in any of them is astounding. I had him as captain in my fantasy Premier League team, and nothing. But Riley, lids off. Arsenal, what happened?
Saliba. Sorry. He's not the signing of the summer. Gabriel Jesus is the signing of the summer. We are back. A couple of years of pain, but we are back, Tommy. Zinchenko, Jesus, we're back. Fletch, did I say it? We're back. 4, sorry, you didn't understand. 4 wins from 4, 12 points, top of the league. It's just a good time to be an Arsenal fan.
Math suggests they can't do much better than that, Fletcher.
That's
Would you
good.
agree?
It's the first time I've heard Riley talk about soccer in about 3 or 4 years. So.
Yeah, Arsenal have been that irrelevant that he's literally refused. They've been stuck down in the Europa League playing against my Wi-Fi password. and yeah, but Arsenal...
Who gave you that one?
Touche.
But yeah, Arsenal are like they're legit. Can they win the league, Riley?
Absolutely, we can. Lids off. We've played 4 teams who are not that amazing, but you've just got to win them.
Absolutely.
And that's what we've done.
They've looked convincing.
That's
I
the
think
thing.
that was probably the hardest fought one.
Yeah.
I think they've been convincing all the other ones.
Is Arsenal TV, you know, the YouTube guys,
See,
are they
AFTV.
happy? Yeah.
Oh,
Are they
see,
happy?
they're not
again,
worth
or not
watching.
really?
They're not worth watching when they win. Like
Because
I'll,
it's
Yeah.
It's
And
positive.
they've
A
got
bit
a
like
guy-
Collingwood supporters.
Hey, but it's the difference. We're scoring goals. What we've scored 4 goals, 3 goals, 2 goals, 2 goals.
Apart from
Yeah.
signings, is it?
and Saka's done
Has-
very little. So
Have they changed management?
No,
No.
we've kept Arteta. We backed him in. After 3 games last year, there was Arteta out.
Yeah.
But we played Chelsea and City in 2 of those first 3. So, like, what do you expect? But he's built a culture. We've signed players who are young. So, like Ben White, Aaron Ramsdale, etc., who are like 23, 24. And we're just building around them. So, it's taken probably 12, 24 months, but here we are.
it's probably a rare case. It's probably a rare case of you see in the AFL that they sack the coach and you get that new coach bounce. Arteta was on the verge of being sacked.
He was close.
And I'm not sure. I know you've watched it, Rod, but I'm not sure if any of the listeners have the Arsenal doco. That made me on Amazon. That made me like Arsenal so much more. I know they've been a bit of a banter club in recent times, but just seeing more that behind the scenes stuff make me like appreciate Arsenal a bit more. I know always watch Arsenal games, see them lose, but mainly because AFTV is so funny when they lose back in the day. But
you can see a lot of pep in Arteta.
Yeah.
The way he's very vocal, he's very
Yes.
handsy, he like grabs the players, and so it's good. I'm
Hands
keen.
It's a good
Oh,
thing in the
sorry,
coach.
No,
sorry.
no, every right to be Rod.
He's
They're
very,
they're flying. Brentford Everton. Chelsea target Anthony Gordon's strike wasn't enough for Everton as they drew 1-1. Lampard could be the first sacked manager. Who knows?
Would not be surprised.
It's him or Stevie G.
Struggle Street, yeah.
Speaking of Stevie G, another loss. Winless West Ham, probably the most disappointing side so far. Picked up their first points with a 1-0 victory over Aston Villa. Relief for West Ham, who's been, as I said, probably the worst, probably the most disappointing. You know, are they in the Europa League or Conference League? I think Conference League. I think they lost
probably
out to United on the last day.
Yeah.
So they're in the Conference League. So they're playing European football, and to be 0 from 3, and they haven't played. I know they played City in the first game, but they've played some winnable games and lost. So,
That was one of the uglier games of soccer I've ever watched.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, that was.
I don't know
can't
how.
believe you
Like,
put yourself through that.
Villa was so much better than West Ham for majority of that.
Yeah,
I don't
for
know
sure.
how they didn't score.
For sure. So that's been that was West Ham's struggle has been a big surprise. That's for sure. Wolves Newcastle. I don't know how Newcastle only got a point. They absolutely dominated. Alan St. Maxim's goal, Rod, did you see that? That was absolute screamer.
Scenes.
That was a screamer. I don't know how they only drew that.
Yeah.
They deserved 3 points.
Also,
so
a
lucky
pretty
they won.
dumb clearance that was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Right into the top
It
of the
was.
box. But anyway,
It was. And to finish off the last game of the round, Harry Kane double powers Tottenham to a comfortable 2-0 win over Nottingham Forest. I have Harry Kane in my fantasy team, so I was a very happy boy watching that. Yeah, Rod, any real
thoughts on the Nottingham Forest goalkeeper wearing a cap?
That looks so weird.
That is
That
village.
looks so weird. That's
It's
something you see out of
village.
pro clubs on
Yeah.
FIFA. Like, that's so weird.
It's honest. It's equivalent
Hate
to
it.
a wicketkeeper wearing short
I was
sleeves.
about to say, yeah, we keep it
It
short
is
sleeve.
Seb Gotch
Yeah,
areas.
no,
It is grim.
hated it, but he did save a penalty, so.
Yeah.
But that
Still,
was.
looks
They
like-
still come out with the caps without a head, without the top.
Oh yeah, the ten at the visor.
Yeah, the visor.
The visor.
God, the
That was
visor's wrong.
horrendous.
Matthew
but-
Simpson. Check out.
I think that's pretty much it from me. There's midweek fixtures coming up, so I think there's games Wednesday, Thursday, and then again on the weekend. So there'll be a big EPL wrap for you boys next week. So, yeah.
Up the Gunners.
All right, next is basketball. We'll go ahead and move on to basketball now.
This is exciting.
After a very good EPL segment from Tommy. I like that. I
Yeah.
like that.
Thanks.
It
Okay.
made me want to get into it.
Thank
You
But-
should.
You should.
Well, it's 2 o'clock in the morning and I've got work.
As a sleep deprivation is real.
Yeah.
Real.
I don't know how you do it, but
I don't know.
good work. I'll stick with the basketball cap.
Yep.
Is that fair?
This is your
That's
forte.
fair.
This is why
I'm
you're
excited
here.
for this.
This is why you're here.
So we've got a few breaking stories that has happened over the last couple of months, but we're going to stick with the ones that are pretty relevant right now. So we got the Chet Holmgren injury, which is a Liz Frank injury, which from what we'll search and looked up.
We ain't no
It's
doctor.
It's a dislocation of like in between the toe area type of thing.
One of the
like,
bones, like from what I read, it was a metatarsal bone.
So
one
that's
of those
a toe,
long, and
but
you
like
can imagine his toes, size of my middle finger. So it's going to take a while. Yeah.
big toe, big injury, big long wait time for him to get back.
I thought
He's
you-
out for the rest of the season.
I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
Nah, we'll keep it PG. So OKC is looking for what's his name?
Victor
Wembanyama.
Wembanyama.
They're looking for the number 1 draft pick with all
Yeah.
the draft picks they've got. So keep them on ice. Keep Chet on ice, and let's get the number 1 draft pick. Well, I don't really go for them, but they will. The next one, this is going to be, I want your opinion. Kevin Durant obviously stayed, but he wanted Steve Nash gone. That's what he was. I stay and Steve Nash goes, or I leave and Steve Nash stays. So they've obviously agreed to stay, but they haven't got rid of Steve Nash. Do you think that will last long? Like,
How
do you
can it last?
I only think it won't last long if they have a disastrous start to the year. My question is, what does KD think they're going to get out of just firing Nash and getting someone else in?
well,
Like what?
from what I watched, they played the same sets, so like the same offensive sets constantly. There was no variation, or like he always went to the low block and then got a little screen and then came to the elbow, and then just like they said, they gave him the ball and just spread to corners and stuff like that. So it's like there was no variation, and it was just like you do you, which
Isn't that fine? Isn't he good enough to be able to do that though?
yeah, but like he doesn't want to do that for 40 minutes, and that's like it just makes it easier to play defense. Like a good team like Boston just turn around and say, well, yeah, we'll give you that, and we'll take this, and then you've got to score from this area.
So the alternative is giving up the ball to some other guys there, like a Kyrie or someone who's
Like,
far worse than him.
Play a couple of pick and rolls first, like get the ball moving from side to side, then get into that, and then you might have a mismatch somewhere.
I don't really know what he thinks he can get out of that. But I'm glad that they didn't sack Nash. It's a bad look for KD.
Yeah.
That they've called his bluff, basically.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Haven't they?
they know that they can't get back what they want for
Yeah.
him. Like they're not going to be able to get it back because
Rudy Gobert ruined his trade value because like I don't know how many draft picks they got for
Yeah,
Rudy
I
Gobert.
think it was 5 or 6.
But you just can't trade someone like
Trade's
that.
like
Like
double.
someone
No.
like that, it's like a unicorn. You can't just trade. You're not going to get anyone
No.
near good enough.
Because
Back.
you're trading a player back who's a star player in return, and the whole reason why you're getting KD is become a contender.
like to match a star player with him, and you're probably losing that star player. So
yeah,
but I'm with you. I don't know how long it's going to last. Good, bad start.
and sure that I don't know how they can work together after this. Like literally, KD's called for Nash's head. How can they work like in tandem after that?
Unless they were like holding it internally on themselves and weren't speaking, and now they've spoken, and it's like release that valve, and now it's like, all right, we know we're on the same page, and let's work together, instead of like just looking inwards at themselves and not talking to everyone else about what's going on. That's the only thing that could have changed.
Yeah, I don't know. I just can't see it.
I guess it's different to like AFL, for example, where you like AFL's a different culture where you keep coaches in for a long time. But shouldn't they give Nash some time? Like, what's he been in there for now? A season?
Yeah, but the
He
other
had a
thing
lot
is
of
like,
interruptions though as well, like Kyrie, Harden. Like,
Yeah.
he's a bit
it was a
skinny.
poor signing to start with though, because like this is his first coaching job.
It
job.
did
And
raise a lot of eyebrows when he
it is
came
a
out.
head coach as a first coaching job. I know he's been around basketball and all that type of stuff, but like it just did not make sense. Like, why would you go for someone more experienced? But anyway,
Lots to look out for on that
Brooklyn's shaky, and then obviously
If they start a bit off,
one. Iffy.
yeah, it'll
like
be-
it's shaky what's going on. Let alone probably the 3 most like tentative players ever, like Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. They're like eggshells.
Don't want to take any accountability.
No,
Not
that's-
one of them.
no
so-
leaders.
I'm scared for that Brooklyn roster. It could get blown up real quick.
is ruined.
Absolutely.
The Pat Bev trade. So Pat Bev got traded to the Lakers for THT and Stanley Johnson. Tommy, what's your thoughts on this? Do you like this for the Lakers or not really?
Bit weird, isn't it? Like I think Rod, you said in our group chat that like they could have got Kyle Lowry for THT. It was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but before the start of last season, they refused to make THT a part of a Kyle Lowry trade.
So like they could have got so much, not so much. They could have got a fair bit for him a year or so ago. Now they got Pat Beverly, who's played how many teams he played for in the last few years? Seems like he's
Couple.
bouncing from team to team.
Yeah.
So
Well, he does become
seems a bit weird, doesn't
best 3-point shooter by percentage.
Yes.
He becomes their best 3-point shooter by percentage.
and
for a
he's
LeBron
defense
James-
first player, isn't he?
Yep. And for a
weird.
LeBron James that want to pass the ball, I don't know how you can have Pat Bev as your sniper.
And
That's concerning.
and Beverly Westbrook feud. That can't
Yeah,
be-
I don't know how that's going to work because they
Can't be
literally hate each other. It's not even like just a beef. It is a genuine hatred.
To me, it feels like this is the first domino in
Yeah.
a Russell Westbrook move away.
Well, it's got to be the Indiana Pacers, doesn't it?
Got to be something. So, but in isolation, the Pat Bev pick isn't as bad as I thought it was at first. A good thing about him is he actually knows his limitations.
And
So-
he'll push two people, Anthony
Yeah.
Davis and LeBron James.
Yeah.
He'll push them.
He'll kick them into gear and say,
Yeah.
"You guys are meant to be absolutely effing dominating."
Seems like AD absolutely needs that. People tip him to
Yeah.
potentially be a like MVP.
Yeah.
But after the finals win anyway.
So that's what I think is good about Pat Bev is that he's going to come in there and just change the culture to this almost entitled, like, oh, we're supposed to just walk into the finals.
Win all
You're going to have to
six
actually work for this.
Could you imagine him in like practice just absolutely abusing
Oh,
LeBron? That's like,
yeah.
LeBron, you
Yeah.
should be doing.
And as
like,
well,
just
all
going
these
at it.
role guys who have signed on like 1 year, like your Lonnie Walkers, he's going to push them to be
Yeah.
like, you have a chance here to get into the starting lineup and
Yeah.
make a name for yourself. You're going to be, everyone's eyeballs are on you. So this is your chance. So fingers crossed that happens, but
So
it's interesting.
So Pat Bev years ago famously said in a restaurant after signing with the Clippers, "I've won a championship." Now he's probably next best opportunity since then. Maybe might make it work, but
They're not winning one.
they're not winning one. I do agree with you, but if NBA is very volatile, it can change so quickly. If they get rid of the 2 picks and Russell Westbrook for Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, I think they're in a serious contention to win
They
one.
just- I can't trust AD to stay fit. And if AD's
Yeah,
not
that's
there
fair
at the end, they're not winning it. Sorry.
That's fair enough. Anyway, apart from that, that's pretty much our basketball news that we got. It's the off season, so it's just slowly going along, and there's a few big stories that aren't really happening, like the Kevin Durant story.
Yep.
Apart from that, we've got our NBA. We talked about this at the start of the show, an NBA fantasy. So we're going to go through that. We've got an NBA fantasy league with all our mates. There's 13 of us, and we just had on Friday night we had our draft night. So we had ping pong balls in a bucket or a bag, and we had like names on it. And if you won last year or where you finished last year, if you won last year or came high last year, you had less balls in the bucket. More balls in the bucket.
Basically, like a reverse draft lottery. So draft lottery
Yeah.
usually you're the hype. Just to, I guess to make it more suspenseful, we didn't
Yeah.
want the first pick being the first choice of where you want to be because then the suspense is over. So it's like the reverse lottery that, as Fletch said, Fletch won. So Fletch had the most chance of being picked first. The goal was to be picked last.
And so that was to then pick where you wanted to pick in the draft. And in the draft is a snake order. So if you're first, then you pick then you have to wait all the way until the last one. So it flips on its head basically. So if you're last, the 13th pick then picks 14th, and then first picks 26. So it flips on its head, and that's how it works. We don't know where the best option was to go, or no, everyone's trying to figure it out. But
It's a bit of a guess. It's only our second season, so it's a bit of a guessing game.
It's all up to you to pick the right player.
yeah,
Because last year we
It's like what you
randomised
prefer.
it. So last year we were given.
yeah.
So we still don't really know which one. The
And
best
there
one
was
is.
people that you two were at the top, and you guys finished pretty early. But then myself and Will, we were late. So it was kind of like, but Kelsey had a good team. He was in the middle. So it was pretty it was pretty even. So we didn't really know. Anyway, I obviously had the most balls in the thing, so I got picked out first.
It worked out really well, Rob.
you.
This was the first time we'd done it, and you floated the idea to myself and friend of the podcast, Marcus Corder, the idea of how to do it, and it worked exactly perfectly. The goal was to have the last three, or the three, I guess the lowest seeds.
Yeah.
Being
able to choose.
and they were the last three in the pot, which is exactly what the lottery is designed for. So you did a very good job.
So
of that,
it was just a little leveler to help out and just even it up a little bit. So it's still up to the person to pick the right player, but it just evens it up a tad.
Because as Fletch said, in this first pick generally isn't. It's good, but it's not. It's a lot more up in the air. Like last pick might not be that bad. Like what Fletcher's got. So it's a little bit different. So I really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, I was at work, so I got phoned in via the FaceTime.
So Riley, where's your first pick for the draft?
You're asking me who I'm going to pick number
No,
one?
no.
No,
Like,
what-
no, like,
position?
what number are you?
I'm number 1 in the
Oh, that's
draft.
right. You went number 1 again.
Yep.
And tell me you went.
I think I've got pick 9.
Yeah.
So you're going back down the order.
Yeah, pick 9. I think I was probably one of the winners of it because in terms of where I was, I think I was the 6th.
Yeah.
I think I was the
It took you a little
7th
bit.
drawn out.
Yeah.
So considering I was in the top 4 for the worst percentage, I was happy with getting the
Because
6th pick.
I think the 3 and 4 went pretty. If I had one draft pick like to pick first, I think I was going to go 7. That was so I could get every tier, pick in every tier, so I know the massive gaps. Would you the same? Like, were you go in the middle, or would you?
I was going to go around 5 to 7, depending on what was available.
Yeah.
If I got first pick, it probably would have been 5 or 6. Just thinking that tier would be a little bit higher, like the 5th pick, just like still a bona fide superstar. Where I think there's a couple of guys in that 6 to 10 that there's a couple of question marks, like injuries, or they're on a new team, or someone's come in that might affect them. So, but I'm happy with number 1.
So it's still a bit of a trial process. It's only our first time actually picking the best spots. I think after a couple of seasons of this league, we'll have a better idea, and I think the draft lottery will become more important. But there's still a bit of a trial process, really. So I think Will came runner-up last year. He had the last pick. So it tells you that it doesn't really matter where you go as long as you draft well. Especially now we've got an extra 2 teams joining us this year. It makes the draft even more.
Yes,
important.
Luke squared.
Yeah, Luke squared. True. Luke of the quarter variety, and also your big brother O'Donnell.
Correct.
So
Big brother.
he is bigger and older. So I wasn't lying.
He's correct.
But yeah, very exciting. So I think a couple months about a month and a bit is our draft with the season approaching.
So we'll once we do our draft, we'll run you through who we picked our sides, and then we'll keep you updated throughout the season how we're going. We're also looking to open, if we can find a website, so let us know if you know a website, to start like a NBA fantasy team, but like not a draft pick.
Bit like
just open
Supercoach.
lobby. So like Supercoach, something like that, and we can just have an open lobby for everyone to join, and we can see how we go and keep updated with that.
Yeah.
The last thing about basketball, I'm just going to add a little who would you rather in the bottom
I'm excited
of this
for this.
segment.
Yeah.
So
Bit interactive.
these are 2-on-2s. So first to 21, 3s are 2s and 2s are
Street
1s.
ball rules, yep.
Street ball rules. So we got Anthony Edwards, Jaren Jackson Jr. versus LaMelo Ball and Brandon Ingram.
Ooh.
Who are you taking, Rob?
First time we've heard this, so I actually have to think on the spot here.
Give me, in a 2v2 format, give me Anthony Edwards and Jaren Jackson.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm just going to say having that big guy.
I think defense. I think LaMelo might be a bit of a liability in defense on defense.
Whack.
really?
Tommy goes whack.
You don't think
I
Brandon...
hope you're not listening to lower ball. No, I just think Edwards and Jaren Jackson. Yeah.
Jeez, I was going to go Brandon Ingram and LaMelo Ball.
That's okay. We're allowed to disagree. I just think having the big guy
I think
in a
big guy.
2v2 format,
Yeah.
he's just going to dominate the boards, offensive rebounds.
I think whoever's
Bang.
I think so too.
But I'd love to hear why do you think
Well, I think
Ingram and
who
LaMelo.
guards Brandon Ingram? Like, Jaren Jackson Jr. isn't quick enough to guard him. So I reckon Brandon Ingram's like a low-key Kevin Durant, especially the way he finished the season. I reckon he could be going off next year.
Yeah.
Okay, the other matchup. This is our final matchup.
Okay, I'll think about this one.
Chris Paul and Bradley Beal. Ja Morant, LeBron James.
Not close for me.
Who was the first one again?
Chris Paul and Bradley Beal.
LeBron and Ja Morant for me.
Really?
Who the hell's guarding LeBron James?
Well, Bradley Beal is a bit light, but
Who's guarding LeBron James?
Who's
LeBron
guarding Ja Morant?
Chris Paul.
LeBron
Is
gets,
he?
LeBron gets whatever he wants.
You reckon?
LeBron gets whatever he eats whatever he wants. LeBron easily.
Oh,
Flip
wait.
the script, though. I reckon
Hang on, wait.
LeBron and Ja.
Sorry, are the teams Ja and Chris Paul?
No.
No. It's Paul and Beal.
Chris Paul and Bradley Beal versus Ja Morant and LeBron James.
Okay, my question now is, who is guarding Chris Paul?
Ja Morant.
I don't know. Tommy, you go.
LeBron eats whatever he wants.
I worry that the paint will be too clogged with the Ja Morant, LeBron James. They both can't really reliably
That's a
shoot
good
threes.
point. That's a good point.
And Bradley Beal might cook him with Chris Paul controlling the game.
I think LeBron's a bit too big.
Yeah, he's a bit big, but like.
That's actually really tough for me. I don't know. It's hard for me
Say
to go
an
off the
answer.
cuff.
know.
Give me... I'm going to go with Chris Paul and Bradley Beal.
I wouldn't have gone that one anyway.
Sorry, Tom.
There you go.
We'll move on now. Out of the basketball, we'll leave the park
I
outside.
enjoyed that. Can you bring that back next week, please?
Yeah, I'll probably won't have a 2v2 next week. I'll probably maybe
No,
have a bit of
anything
different
interactive, leave
one.
it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. I think definitely the socials. I wouldn't mind hearing the listeners' thoughts on what they reckon. Because, I thought it was easily LeBron. But if you pick Bill and Paul, I wouldn't mind hearing what the listeners think.
Off the cuff, it's tricky. I reckon you can
Corey
justify
Lyle,
it either
please
way.
comment.
Yeah.
All right.
Now,
Next, you have
Riley O'Donnell.
the F1 Belgium Grand Prix.
before we get to the Belgian Grand Prix, we've had some sad news, haven't we, in the F1?
Do we?
Our Australian
Oh.
friend,
Oh, God.
Worst kept secret.
Daniel Ricciardo, he's done. At the end of the year. No more Danny Rick at McLaren.
Maybe not the F1.
Yeah, will he be in the F1? Yeah.
Did you guys have any thoughts on that one?
More worries. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
worried that he's not going to get another seat.
Brutal. It's brutal. It's a brutal industry to can your driver halfway through the season. Is it halfway through?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Just over half.
So he has to drive for the second half of the year, knowing he's not there next year. Getting
that might
paid though, to be
almost-
fair,
Yeah.
getting paid.
I think
bag.
that might almost be better. Rather than him knowing
pressure,
that
yeah.
they're probably not going to take him on next year, rather he just know. And
Yeah.
all right, I'll drive with freedom. This is an audition now.
Yeah, I was about to say
But he
he's his
didn't on the
opportunity.
weekend.
Yeah.
He didn't drive with freedom. on
To
the
be fair,
weekend.
Norris didn't do
He
that
got
either,
screwed
so-
over by strategy. I'll
No,
get
did
into
he?
that, but he got screwed over by
But
strategy.
yeah, will he
Would that-
be? I don't know if he'll be in the F1. He's too good to not be in the F1.
I think
surely.
he ends up at Alpine.
Yeah, as I called a couple weeks ago,
Is Alpine
Piastri to
a Renault? Renault's
Yeah.
gone back.
taken
to-
back.
I think
after
they
he
do. What? So I
famously dumped them.
I think it's that sort of sport where you can't let the
Can't hold a
emotions get
grudge.
in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's him versus some 19, 20-year-old kid, if they can't get Piastri and all this work, Piastri goes to McLaren and Alpine can't snatch him back, who are they going to put in there? So I think they have to take Danny Rick. Haas Williams won't be able to afford him. So it's literally just Alpine. It's Alpine or no one for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Alpine just puts in a younger guy because, like, Danny Rick's hit the ceiling, hasn't he?
We don't know. That's the thing. We don't know if it's the car. We don't know if it's him, if it's a bit of both.
I guess
So-
the next, how many rounds does it go?
About 7, I think.
So
7
the
or
next
8.
7 will, because, like, to me, my thoughts are the next 7 rounds, I'd rather not see him finish a race. I'd rather see him break way too late and try and push the car to the absolute limits. Because, like, if him just going around and finishing 15th, it's not going to show me anything. I want to see him, like, have the passion to absolutely break as hard as he can late.
Yeah, but 3 DNFs out of 7 might also not look so good.
But at least he's trying to do something. Like, no, when I watch him drive, he just drives around the track. Someone comes on his ass and he lets him by.
But that could be the car, though, couldn't it?
But he doesn't get in the inside the corner to then knock him in the racing line. He just lets him go by. It's like, well, this is boring.
I think it's a fine line because if he sends it too much and he starts costing McLaren millions of dollars, maybe Alpine goes,
Yeah.
he's lost the plot.
Okay.
Already paying him big money just to be there. Imagine if he starts costing us.
So it's I understand what you mean. It would be nice to see him send it a little bit like he did at Red Bull, post the stamp and send it. But yeah, I think for me, he'll.
But even
find
like
his way at
after he
Alpine.
finished at Renault, he then started driving good because I feel like he just let go. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh well, let's try and see how far I can push it because it doesn't.
Yeah,
Like Leclerc spins out a lot, but he's pushing the car to its absolute limits, and I don't see that from Danny Rick.
the other thing with that is though, Leclerc knows he has the car that if he makes a mistake, he can just whiz through the field. Danny Rick can't.
Yeah.
But what else is he going to do? Finish in 15th?
He hasn't finished in 15th every race though. That's the thing. I think it's getting a bit like the media hype around how bad he's been. He hasn't been great, but he's had some unlucky races and his strategy is not great because they're rightly so. They're prioritising Lando, but yeah, it's sad to see. Hopefully, we know sooner rather than later what happens with that. But the other piece of news was that Fernando Alonso signs at Aston Martin. That started all of this, basically, the carnage that happened. But it was a major surprise to me. Did you guys?
I was about to say the same thing. I didn't see it coming. And I'm not as big on the F1 as I know you're a bit more in the know than I am, Rod, but that surprised me, didn't it?
Well, he looks like he still has pace, doesn't he?
He's killing it.
Like,
He's
so
killing it. Yeah. He's gone from the 4th fastest car to the 9th fastest car.
Backwards. What?
So,
Yeah, so it does make sense.
have fun. It must be cash.
Has to be more love.
But for
as
me,
a
like,
career.
is the cash, the extra cash that he's getting from Aston Martin compared to Alpine really worth it? Like in his position,
maybe Alpine just said we won't offer you a contract,
that would
and so they must be then they must be going for a young guy then.
Although to be fair, at the time they probably thought they were getting Piastri. Oh yeah, they did. They thought they were
They
getting
did,
Piastri.
yeah, they did.
That's true. So yeah, that's not good. But if you guys don't have any more thoughts on that, we can move into the Belgian Grand Prix, otherwise known as the Max Verstappen Masterclass.
Yeah, it wasn't a great race.
What a joke
To be
this
honest,
was.
I fell asleep. Really else.
He had a grid penalty. He started in 14th and he won by 17 seconds, which is just
Dominating.
unbelievable. Took him 12 laps to take the lead, and then he led from lap 18 until the checkered flag. And from lap 12 to lap 18, the only time he didn't lead was when he pit, and he was second. So
It's pretty incredible.
So now he has a 93-point advantage over his teammate Sergio Perez
Oh shit.
in the drivers' championship. Charles Leclerc is not even second.
To think after a few rounds, Leclerc should win this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Leclerc needs to crash out a few times. He said keep it close. Now all of a sudden it's already done.
So at this stage, it looks like Max is going to run away with the drivers. Red Bull's going to run away with the constructors. They're 120 points ahead of Ferrari or something like that. So Christian Horner labelled it one of Red Bull's best ever weekends, which I can't disagree with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was incredible. Alonso and Hamilton had a little bit of a collision on lap 1.
Thanks for cost us the bet, Riley. For God's sake.
That was
One job, Hamilton, to get a point.
one of the great jinxes from me. Sorry about that. But live, I thought it was Alonso's fault.
Hamilton.
Yeah, and then you watch the replay and you just saw Hamilton turn in.
There's just no car space for Alonso at all.
So, because like initially you saw Hamilton go up the rear and I thought, oh, what's Alonso done? He's like closed in on him, but nope, complete opposite.
He got spat out too. Like went massive in the air.
That would have killed his back.
They got no suspension to start off with, let alone fucking a meter in the air. Boom.
Yeah, and it probably doesn't do justice how high he got as well. So on the same lap, Latifi spun out and got in the way of Bottas.
Start was good.
Bottas. This is as eventful as it got, basically. Bottas got beached, which sucked. He was a DNF. Latifi somehow, got up. He probably finished last. I don't even know.
How cruel is F1? You're the one who doesn't spin out, but gets tapped on the way by, and you get beat. The other guy just drives on. See you, buddy.
The other thing I wanted to talk about was Ferrari again. They got their strategy wrong again. So Leclerc, with 2 laps to go, was in 5th place quite comfortably. And Ferrari said, do you want to pit? We could get the fastest lap. And he goes, I probably wouldn't risk it, like just for that 1 point, I wouldn't risk it, but do whatever you want to do. They go, no, box. So he comes in, gets on the softs, doesn't get the fastest lap. And then it is discovered after the race that he sped in the pits by 1 kilometre per hour. Gets a 5-second penalty and he drops from 5th to 6th. So
he can't catch a break, Leclerc.
And apparently he wasn't told that by Ferrari. He was doing the post-race interview and the reporter told him and he was like, wait, what? So Ferrari didn't even tell him.
Oh my God.
What a shambles.
Why not just take 5th?
This is one of the most wasted years. Probably the most wasted year like we've seen since watching F1 and getting into it.
Yeah, especially from Ferrari.
So yeah, they're not good. He had a bit of an anonymous race, really. Like him and Verstappen started neck and neck, and Verstappen went away.
I think Verstappen just showed that he's got the better car and also just absolutely the better driver. Like Leclerc's got a good car, but he's like, if you put Norris in the same car, or there's probably 5 or 6 guys, you put in the same car, he'd probably be doing the same thing. Verstappen's just he's just ahead of him so much more.
He's in a league of his own, and I would not be surprised if we get to... So there's 2 more races in a row the next 2 weekends. If Max wins, and he's 140 points ahead or whatever.
Just dominating.
He's just... Yeah, he's done. So
it's scary for this is, I don't really know too much about it. This is kind of scary for the future of F1 though, because Red Bull obviously going to finish first in the constructors, which means they get more money than any other team. How does I know Mercedes they've got enough money from backing that they can get back up there, but how does a Ferrari keep backing it up? How does a McLaren get to even like pushing them? Because McLaren's just sitting in no man's land doing nothing. Yeah, with two young drivers, not an experienced driver. So
I think Mercedes. You've got to back in Mercedes to get there at some stage.
Yeah. They'll find power over the season.
It's new regulations, so you can see that they probably started off too slow and they're playing catch up.
Yeah,
Ferrari's got the car. They just can't figure out everything else, basically. Their strategy, Leclerc, Sainz, they're just a little bit off, making too many mistakes.
Yeah, they make too many mistakes.
So Red Bull's just having the perfect season, basically. And Verstappen is 24 years old. So
yeah, it's kind of scary.
He could be doing this for the next 15 years.
How old is Carlos Sainz? Do you know how old he is?
Probably pretty similar. I think he'd be 25 or 26.
So they're probably keeping those two drivers for a long time.
Yes.
Leclerc and...
Yeah, they'll be planning on doing that for quite a while. So, that was, a pretty uneventful race, sadly. Yeah. I was expecting, with all the grid penalties, I was expecting it to be pretty exciting, but it wasn't. So
yeah, I was expecting, because obviously when they start at the front, just Verstappen just goes and they get ahead of Leclerc and they get fresh air. I was expecting them to be all bunched up, kind of behind each other, dive behind each other, and getting some positions, but they just ran away with it, and I was like, this is boring now.
It was just a procession. Carlos Sainz is 27.
Okay, so it's a bit older.
And Leclerc's 24, same age as Max. So those three are going to be around for a while.
Yeah, the top three teams aren't going to change much, are they?
No.
Hamilton's not going to... he might go somewhere soon, but George Russell obviously isn't, and then the two Ferraris and two Red Bulls, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. So
Perez is 32, so he can keep going for 7 or 8 years if he wants to. If he's lucky. I know.
Yeah.
Alonso and Vettel have set the standard to go for that long. Not many people can do that, but see what happens.
Need a McLaren to step up, I reckon, and to really make it interesting, because otherwise it's just 3 teams that win every week.
Yeah. And that's what we thought that first race. We thought it was going to be that.
Yeah.
But it just hasn't delivered, sadly. So, anyway, it was quite a disappointing race, but that's okay. Tommy, the golf. Rory McIlroy.
Yes, my bank account enjoyed that win from Rory McIlroy, that's for sure. But, the Tour Championship. So, it's considered the season finale, which is weird, in August, and there's still more tournaments to come. But this is seen as the finale. For those that don't follow much golf, the Tour Championship basically... every tournament throughout the year equates to a certain amount of points for where you finish, and it's basically like a playoffs knockout style 4 weeks. Where it starts with, I'm not sure how many players it starts with, and then over the next 3 tournaments it knocks out a certain amount each time until it gets to the final 30, and the final 30 is handicapped. So the number one on the points, the rankings, world rankings or whatever, will start at -10. And then it'll go down based on where you were. So I think Adam Scott just crept into that final 30, and he started from level par. So It basically favours the guys that do well during the season, which I wouldn't mind hear your thoughts if you like that handicap style thing, because it meant that players like Scott were basically ruled out straight away. But I guess it's a good payday, so it's more about the money. But do you like that? It's like a handicap. It does reward the good performance throughout the year.
I like the concept, but I think it's just they've gone to extreme. You're right. There's some guys who literally know that they're not going to win because they are that far behind. It's not even funny.
It's impossible. It's impossible for Scott's got 29 people that start 1 to 10 shots ahead of him. He's no way he's making that.
And if you're good enough to make the Tour Championship, you should still have a chance to win, shouldn't you?
I feel like I like the handicap concept, but I feel like it's probably a bit too. It makes it impossible for a Scott to win.
Yeah, it's out of kind of 5 to 10 guys. Basically, they're just running their own race.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's what I guess you look at the betting markets. I don't watch every golf tournament. I watch as many as possible, and it showed that it was really a 3-4 horse race. But Rory overcoming a 7-shot deficit in that final round to take out the $26 million prize pool. That is a fair amount of money. Boys, you know how many Dare Ice coffees that could purchase. But
let me just whip the calculator up while you talk.
Yeah, world number 1, Scotty Scheffler, disappointing final round collapse. I was very surprised. He's been such a beacon of consistency all year. I think he shot +3 in the last round too. Give up that lead. Riley, do you have the number there?
For a 500ml double espresso, you're getting 8,125,000 of those bad boys.
Bit of caffeine in that one, Fletcher.
Lovely.
Rory's not sleeping.
That's a fun fact you guys can take from this podcast. But in terms of the Aussies, I know, Fletch, you said we're going to focus on the Aussies a fair bit. Cameron Smith, who we're to talk about it in a brief moment, unfortunately. Smith finished 20th and Scott finished 25th. Bit disappointing from Smith considering I think he started... I'm not sure exactly where. It was -6. So the leader started -10. He was -6. So he was in that top half. So disappointing to finish 20th, but very an amazing season for him nonetheless. And Adam Scott was once lucky to be there. He's had a bit of resurgence this year, but I think if you watch, you would have seen that rod, that up and down from the bunker, and that to make the 30 in itself was his final, pretty much. But,
extraordinary.
Now, unfortunately, this is legitimately breaking news. About half an hour ago, Cameron Smith, probably the world's worst kept secret, has officially joined LIV. I am genuinely so sad. There's obviously a lot spoken about the LIV defects, and the money attached to it, but
it is
I hate
shattering.
I hate it so much.
What is he thinking?
Does it tarnish your? I wouldn't say legacy, but does it affect your thought of him in any way after winning the 150th Open?
It does, yeah.
I think it does too.
I can't separate him from all the opinions I had of the other guys who left.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Like, because I loved Brooks Koepka and he left, and there's obviously your Brysons and DJs and all that. And I can't say I still like Smith. But
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it.
It's not good, is it?
And it's concerning for me in the sense that all these gun players are going to LIV. Does that make the next majors a little bit with an asterisk? Because I know Rory won, and there was a really good field that was in this, but you're missing Brooks, Bryson, you're missing Patrick Reed, you're missing some really good golfers. That probably makes the tour a little bit worse off without him. Of course it does.
So for people that, like people like myself, that don't really 100% understand it, why are you so mad about him leaving? Like, what is it?
What's LIV Golf? Explain.
Well, not just LIV Golf, but like, dirty money. They've talked about dirty money.
Yes, that's the big one.
Is there not dirty money in all sports?
Potentially, that's a can of worms. Potentially, I think.
The basketball isn't like basketball and the soccer. They're not just getting their money from just anyone.
Yeah, Greg Norman obviously is one of the ones that runs the LIV, and he has mentioned that you could probably find dirty money in any sport.
Not just sport, everything. There's dirty money. So.
I think. Well, I guess for me, it's hard for me. I don't like it because it ruins the integrity and it creates an asterisk on the PGA from now on. So like Rory won, but he won without A, B, C, D, E, who would challenge him.
Was the PGA doing everything to keep those players?
LIV would say no, and that's what Greg Norman's thrown in there.
Would the players say no?
I don't know. Well,
they're obviously leaving, so they'd be saying no.
Yeah, they.
And to be fair, you got to remember, he signed a $120 million contract.
Yeah.
I'm just being a bit of devil advocate
here.
here.
I like that.
He signed $120 million, and that's not including
prize money.
So,
and you're guaranteed to get money even if you do horrendous. And that's probably the biggest pulling thing, was that it means they play less golf, so they can spend more time with their families, because golf, it can be brutal week after week after week travelling.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. But it's mainly the fact they can play, like Brooks has always said he doesn't love golf. Plays similar with Kyrgios in tennis.
Yeah.
Doesn't love golf, but he does it because it's his job.
He's good.
So now he's able to get paid and still spend that time with his family. So I can understand why they do it.
So his golf's going to drop off.
What annoys me the most, though, is players that have moved to LIV and are trying to come back, but do both. They want
and sue the PGA
They want
Tour.
their cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
They want the money from LIV and the freedom, but then also, you know what? I feel like coming back this week. That annoys me the most. You can't fault players like DJ and that. I'm doing it for family. I want it paid. I still don't love it, but like I get it. I don't like the players that are trying to come back.
Yeah, don't try and come back just for all the tournaments that have some history.
Yeah,
don't try and come back just for those ones.
They
if
want,
you're in it,
LIV's got to start their own history.
Yeah,
their own.
And that's one of the other issues is that, like Tiger Woods spoke about it. He was like, "What are they playing for other than money? Like, there's no history attached to anything that they're doing now."
Yeah.
So that's what I've never really been out. I know people. I've never really even. I've never seen a single shot from LIV.
No.
Like, I wouldn't know who wins unless listening to the Ricciardo podcast and stuff like that. Because it's like, what are they playing for?
It's very gimmicky.
They
The broadcast,
get paid regardless.
like they show more shots in the PGA Tour, but it's so gimmicky. Like, it's cringeworthy.
I just feel like, well, they're playing for are playing for more money. They're already getting paid on top of this. So it doesn't really matter. I feel like playing for world number 1 ranking points, like, have to grind the fight. If you don't play well, you're not getting paid that much. Like,
so the tournaments aren't so like weighted, or they don't sorry about that. They don't feel like they have a weight behind them.
I don't have any. Yeah.
So when they, like, not that anyone can hit the shots they hit, but it's not as much pressure or as much.
There's nothing riding on it
Like
other
this,
than
there's not like
they're gonna
this
win.
big
They're gonna
title.
get a load of cash anyway, regardless.
But it's not like, oh, you won the British Open or the Hunt.
Like they lift the trophy of this thing they've never heard of before.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool.
The,
And I
the
throw it
history
away.
and weight that you're surrounded in if you win it is not as
No,
like
no way.
just as big. Like,
It feels, from what I've watched and people talking about it, they feel like pro-am events, which is like them playing with celebrities and stuff.
Yeah.
They feel like it's just they're going around and playing a practice round.
So do you think this will last then?
It's looking more and more likely to. That they're getting some, like, Cam Smith world number 2. That's massive.
But do you think they're overpaying and they might not see the revenue come back in?
Money grows on trees, Saudis, mate. Like, I'm a bit concerned.
Yeah, but they will come to a point where they're like, oh, it's not making its money and this is going out backwards quickly.
Yeah, like Mickelson's getting like $200 million, and you know how bad he's played? Like, he's been horrendous. He's getting $200 million.
I wonder why.
Wonder what? Yeah, because his name's Phil Mickelson. Have you seen the golf he's played? But yeah, I'm a little concerned. It is sad. And I come back to that point, Cam Smith. I don't know. It's hard. I guess it's hard to turn down money like that. But he's playing so well. He was gonna make so much money. But like,
it's generational, guaranteed money.
Yeah,
like your kids are probably just set now.
I think I heard. I'm not sure I'm right in saying this. Heard from Ricciardo's podcast that Finau's win a couple weeks ago was like, we've got like $1.5 million or something. He's seeing some of the money that they're getting.
Yeah, $5 million for a win.
Like,
almost. I think it was the first one was 4.8 million.
Yeah,
from memory.
And then you're seeing here like Mickelson $200 million. You've seen DJ Bryson. They'll be on close to 100. Like, it's incredible. So yeah, it's sad, boys. It's sad, and I don't know how when the majors come around. I don't know how I'm gonna feel because next major's next year, so it's a little while away. But I don't know how I'm gonna feel, to be honest, boys. But
yeah, we'll see if they're allowed to play in the PGA. They're trying to stop them too, aren't they?
Yeah, it is interesting. So
lots to watch out for in that one. So
yeah.
So that's the end of our episode now. I think we've covered everything of our just around the ground type of sports around the world. So
all around the world.
We've I think we've covered everything.
Yeah, a bit of a trial thing for obviously footy's easy to cover. The topics speak for themselves. So as you said, Fletch, really speak about whatever's hot. So I said it'll be AFLW. I think I definitely want to watch a few more games. Now, especially now with footy starting to wrap up and the game, as you said, is getting so much better. So EPL, I said multiple. There's two. Each team's playing twice and then Champions League starting back next week. So there's all the NBA stuff. So there'll be plenty of things to cover.
So
boys,
we'll keep covering the NBA and the NBA fantasy. We'll keep you in check of what's going on there. See how our draft goes. And then obviously what's happening with Dan Ricciardo and the F1.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there a race this weekend?
Yep, another one. Can't remember where, but yeah, there's this week and next week. So,
plenty to cover there.
Just bear with us a little bit on this podcast. We're still figuring out how to do all the segments and get it going. We've obviously had a couple of goes with the AFL, so we're going to get this one to that high standard as well. We're very excited. So this is good fun. So
thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Tune in for next week, boys.
Yeah, next week, next Thursday, this one. We should have another one coming up. So then we'll have a week finals. We'll do a review and everything like that. And then we'll have another one of these coming up next Wednesday and Thursday. So after this, keep tuned down on social media.
Yeah,
give us likes.
Sport and the social's been really good. Riley, I know you did a really good job at setting that up. Then got a few listens so far. So hey, hang on.
So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Go Cats.
Thanks, guys.